Okay, there is no sound in the background.
Yeah, okay, because my kid was crying. The sound is coming from the other side. Okay, so we discussed wet pipe system and dry pipe system. Regarding the videos I will share on Blackboard. I will just share you the link of the videos on YouTube, and you have to watch those videos. Maybe for today class, I will share you videos, or maybe 5 to 10 videos. You have to watch those videos and come tomorrow. Whatever discussion, whatever doubt you have from those videos, we can discuss. Because playing video here on the Blackboard, it is not. It is time consuming. Better we can have some time for that also. So now we discussed we can install wet pipe system for the and where we have chances for breathing, we are going with the dry pipe. Now there are some of the disadvantages of dry pipe system. What are the drawback of the dry pipe system, right? The first one, it increases complexity, right? It is very complex compared to the wet pipe system. We have compressor, right? We have different devices which is higher complex than the wet pipe system and little bit costly. We need higher installation and maintenance costs, right? So for the maintenance of the wet pipe system, we have to maintain the system. We have a compressor, we have a piping relief valve, or for the air compressor system, we have the different connections for the dry pipe system. So the cost for the maintenance will go high, and the installation cost is also high. We have lower design flexibility. What is the mean of lower design flexibility, right? You know that the maximum GPM, not more than that. What is the meaning of that one? Why they have limited that the maximum capacity of the wet pipe system is only up to 750 GPM, not more than that? What is the idea behind that? Anyone? What is the idea behind they have limit the maximum capacity of the dry pipe system will be up to 750 GPM, upper limit of 750 GPM. The idea is that in the dry pipe system, as we discussed in the beginning, right? We have a if we have air or nitrogen, right? We have air or nitrogen in those areas. The air should go out first, and then the valve will operate. If the system size is so big, let's say a very big area, and there is more volumetric CFM of the air is present, right? The quantity of air is very high in the system that if there is a fire, it will take long time to it will take more time to release the air from the system, right? So by doing that, the yeah, because of that delay, the fire will grow. Once the fire will grow more than the design point of the sprinkler system cannot control the fire. This is the idea. They have just limit the 750 GPM, not more than that. So it's increased the fire response time, right? Fire response time in the sense that if there is a fire and fire is growing, system is so big, the piping is so big, the quantity of air inside the piping is so big. What will happen that it will take more time to release the air and allow the water to go to the sprinkler system. This is why we have to limit this kind of the system up to 750 GPM, and the maximum time of the fire when fire start, right? and water getting into the system, right? When the sprinkler system break, right? When the sprinkler system in the dry pipe system breaks and water is started getting inside the piping, within 60 seconds of the break of the sprinkler system, the water should reach at this location. Let's say if this is sprinkler, right? Within 60 seconds, water should reach during in the fire areas. Because if the fire grows more than that, and for next 100 minutes or 120 minutes, the water is not reaching in those areas, what will happen? The fire in those areas will grow, right? So if the fire grow in almost half of the building, your sprinkler system is not going to protect those areas, right? The system is not going to protect those areas. So I maximum time allowed to reach water from the sprinkler breaking areas up to 60 seconds. And the last drawback for that one is the corrosion potential. The chances of the corrosion in the dry pipe system is sometimes it is higher. Why it is higher? That we understand that in dry pipe system we don't have water always, right? So if this is your piping, sorry for that. If this is your piping, right? Water go inside the piping, right? And sprinkler activate, extinguishes the fire. Now you have to drain all the water from the piping. After the fire, once the fire is extinguished, replace the sprinkler system and drain the water from the system. You are not allowed to keep water inside the piping, because when air and water mix together with the metal, so this system design required more detailed knowledge of NFPA 13 and other requirement for the corrosion potential and all. What NFPA says that there's you have to keep your piping in such a way that all the water, sorry for that, there should be a little bit of slope, right? There should be a little bit of the slope, that if this is our drain connection, if this is our drain connection, all the water will go out from this area for this piping. If this is our drain connection, the water in this area will never go out, right? So the one who is designing the dry pipe system, he should understand the things in mind, how to drain complete water from the dry pipe valve after the system activation. We cannot keep water inside the piping, otherwise water, oxygen and the metal mix together, causing a lot of
In this case, Mr. Rabi, then the pendant sprinkler head will not be used in the dry sprinkler systems, right?
no, pendant can be used easily, because the pendant also water will go up to downward only, right? There is no problem with the orientation of the sprinklers.
Yeah, but in this case, it will be some water will be accumulating on the downside.
No, you have to completely remove the water before putting into the surface. This is why I said it required more maintenance, more maintenance and accurate.
Yeah.
All those videos I will upload on the Blackboard, and you can access from. We come to the third type of the fire protection system. Yeah, slope is needed. Of course, you have to give a little bit of the slope based on the NFPA 13 design guidelines, that no area remains where water entraps, right? So if you are keeping, let's say if you are keeping your piping like this, right, almost without any slope, and you want to drain water, maybe in some area there almost saying. So we have to give some slope based on the requirement of NFPA 13. They have given what is the percentage of the slope for each 10 meter of pipe, of 1 meter of pipe. You have to give that slope. This is not a good way to lay out the piping, because you cannot draw water after the water get inside. You might give some small quantity of the slope, right, along with the drain connection, so that we can remove the water. This is a major challenge. This is a major. See the different parameters, what is happening and all. Based on that, you have to place the piping. Otherwise, the system will get corrode easily because of the air and water mixed together for a long time. Suppose your pipe is going like this, right, up and this side, and again your pipe routing at the side by different way. You must at this location to drain all this pipe. If you are putting drain at this location, this one will be entrapped. So for this area, we need one way of draining, and the other area we need one of the draining. So you have to read NFPA 13 code and handbook carefully, and some other guidelines of FM Globals to understand those things. Okay. Now we come to the deluge system. Meaning of deluge is flood. The meaning of deluge is the flood or flooding, right? There is rain in Japan, heavy rain that causes complete city to flood, right? So this is the kind of the meaning of the deluge. That what is the idea regarding the deluge system? Deluge system required for the warehouses. If we are talking about the warehouse, where we have highly flammable and combustible material stored. Let's say you have stored some material which catches the fire, and within second, maybe after 1 second or after 1 minute or after 60 seconds or 90 this amount of heat, and the heat is so extent that one sprinkler or so sprinkler will not operate, cannot be enough to fight the fire. So deluge system need open nozzles. Those nozzles are always open. So in the deluge system, we have the open nozzles, and those nozzles get water when there is a connection of detector, smoke detector or heat detector, gas detector is installed in those areas to fight the fire. I will explain that this one in detail, how those deluge system work, and again the video of the same picture also I will send you to understand the working principle of the deluge system, right? This is a deluge valve arrangement, right, where pilot coming back again, we'll come to this figure. So now deluge valve need some signal to open its valve. Either it should be activated by a smoke detector, heat detector, or any kind of the gas detectors, or it should be opened by the hydraulic pilot line detector or pneumatic pilot line detector. Now, what are those pneumatic and hydraulics? I will discuss those things in detail here in this figure. Nozzles, right? This is our signal nozzles. The open nozzles, this is normally open.
Mr. Rafi.
Yeah.
Hydraulic mean you mean pressure, right?
High meaning of hydraulics is hydraulics come from the Latin word. Hydro means water, right? Aulics means pipe. Hydraulic pressure means, yeah, exactly, water pressure. Hydraulics means water pressure. Pneumatic means air pressure. And automatic detection means from any kind of the detector, a smoke or whatever you say. The hydraulics came from the word hydro plus aulics. Hydro means water and olix means pipe. Water inside the piping.
Water
So
with
yeah, there
what?
is some pressurized inside the pipe. Olix means pipe, those, and hydro means water. So those words combined together, hydraulics. This word came from maybe Greek or Latin words, Latin and all those things. So we call it hydraulics. So hydraulics, yeah, exactly. It's water, pressurized water inside the system, and those pressurized water will release water from the piping so that valve will open. And how those will open, we'll discuss in the figure.
Okay.
So here we have, let's say, this is our Spengler valve, right? Sorry, sprinklers, and these are the open nozzles in the deluge case. And this is our deluge valve, right? This is our deluge valve, and this deluge valve will be only opened by the hydraulic pilot line. We say, I already discussed in the previous slide that detection. So the one we are looking at this, it is activated by hydraulics means. We have a sprinkler nozzles, right? The 4 nozzles and all, and this piping connected to this valve. Now this is the internal parts of deluge valve, right? The water from this is our water. This is sorry. We are getting water from this side, right? We are getting water from this side, from underground 500 meters, and all the way to here. Here we have a closed condition. The valve is, and we are getting water up to this location, right? Now we have a diaphragm chamber. What is a diaphragm chamber? Here we have a rubber diaphragm, right? Elastomeric diaphragm. This is a elastomeric diaphragm. So when the system open, water will go like this. Water will go like this to the system. Now the elastomeric, the black you can see it is closed at this moment. When there is a fire, this sphincter will break, right? This sphincter will break and water will get discharged from the system, right? When the water will get discharged from the system, right? So when water will get discharged, this area pressure will be reduced. As the pressure in this area will getting reduced, from this side the main water pressure will try to open this, the black, and once it's open, water will go into the system. This is the concept of the hydraulics mix. Is that clear to all of you guys?
Mr. Rabi, your
Yeah.
voice is breaking a lot. Actually, we cannot hear you very well.
Okay, just wait a moment. Let me check with my device. Yeah, hello. Now you can hear my voice properly, right?
Yeah, now it's clear.
So from which slide the voice was not coming properly? From this one or from the beginning one?
No, actually, it was coming and going. The breaking is not continuous all the time, but here this slide it was a lot.
Okay, so I'll go from the previous one. I think this one we missed. We have 3 different methods to open the deluge valve. Deluge valve will be opened by some kind of the detection. Either it is hydraulic pilot line or automatic detection, or maybe the pneumatic line. In this case, we have a hydraulics line. This is a hydraulic detect. This is a hydraulic pilot line, right? And when there is a fire, right, this one will break. And now I'll come from there. This is the water supply line, okay? Water getting inside from this area and all the way from this piping, the water pressurizing these areas. This is the closing point of the deluge valve. The upside we have the open to atmosphere, and the downside we have a pressurized water. So once water going from this side and this water pressurizing this areas, and the same time it is going all the way to the detection line, which is the hydraulic pilot line. So if there is a fire in this area, this sprinkler will activate. Once this sprinkler will activate, the bulb will break, and this is a closed nozzle. So when bulb break due to the heat, water will go out. The moment water will go out from this line, right, the pressure in these areas will reduce. Once the pressure will reduce in this area, from this side there will be high pressure trying to open this elastomeric rubber. Once this water will go all the way to the system, to the deluge valve, and these are the open nozzles. This is how the system works. Again, maybe this will become more clear for you once I will share video to you guys. Maybe you'll get more clarity. I will share you 5 video at least on the blackboard. You have to watch those videos more than 2 or 3 times to get the point.
Okay, that will be good, inshallah.
That will be fine. Yeah.
Mr. Rafi,
Yeah.
WhatsApp, you can share in the video in the
Yeah.
WhatsApp.
Yeah. I will share on the blackboard, and I will share you the link also on the WhatsApp. Don't worry.
Good.
Now we came to the pre-action system, right? Pre-action system, as I discussed, this is not the common kind of the sprinkler system. When we have to protect the building by water without fire, right? So these are some application area for this kind of sprinklers, right? We can use in the museum where we have kept costly and rare items, old historical items, or books. Maybe in the data center where we have some electronics items. Those items will destroy in case of the water. Now it is okay to save those data center in case of the actual fire. Suppose there is a fire in the data center, right, and we have to protect the fire. We can activate water system in those area, right? At least we can save some of the portion of those data center. But if there is a normal sprinkler system like wet pipe system and all, and it is activated maybe by some mistakes, the water will discharge all into the areas, and what will happen that it will damage those areas. So we want to fight the fire. We want to discharge the water in only case where we have actual fire. And again, if you can see at this, in all these accessories, this is the most complex one. The easiest one we have wet pipe system, then dry pipe system, followed by the deluge valve, and this one the most advanced one, the pre-action system. Costly, cost effective, more maintenance cost, and worldwide this system is used less 5%, less than 5%. So the application of this system is very limited. I have seen this kind of the system one in Aramco Dehran facility. I was there for some of the inspection, some of the site visit. I saw there are some of the pre-action system they have used for some of their facilities. And there are 3 types of the interlocks. If you open your the interlocks, I have not included here because it is there in the book, and this is not more in common. There are three types of the interlocks: single interlock system, a non-interlock system, and a double interlock system. The single interlock system is that, in the single interlock system, when a detector detect the fire in the single interlock system, when a detector detect the fire, it will admit the water into the piping. This is the single interlock system. Now we have a non-interlock system. In non-interlock system, water will go inside the piping either by operation of the sprinklers or by operation of the detection system. Last one, we have double interlock system. What is the meaning of the double interlock system? It is the most advanced one, right? Suppose this is the area need to be protected by the sprinkler system, right? And here we have a detector. This is a detector, okay? It's look like a heat detector. So once this heat detector activate, due to the rise in the temperature in this area, this will give signal to this panel, and this panel will try to open this deluge valve, right? This is the first condition. Now this valve will open only in the case when the water from the sprinkler is going out. The air, sorry. Pre-action system is the combination of wet, dry, deluge, and all, more or less. So these are the mixing of all. So we have we have air inside the piping, same as a dry pipe system. So this is a combination of dry and deluge. We have a air after the valve at this side, right? So with the fire, the first dose air will go out, right? Then only water will come. This valve will open and water will go into the piping. Suppose the detector giving a false, the detector giving a false signal that will try to open this valve, right? The valve will get a signal to open, but at the same time, the sprinkler is still closed because there is no fire. If there is no fire, the sprinkler system will not activate. So after some time, the system go in reset condition. They will go to their initial settings again. So suppose if a sprinkler system break mistakenly, someone break the sprinkler system by doing some of work and is activated mistakenly, the air will go out. Of course, this in the system break, the air will go out. But the deluge valve here closed by electronic signal, which is closed by the solenoid valve, and those solenoid valve will only open upon the signal from this control panel, and this control panel will get a signal from the detector which installed in the same area. So double interlock system is the most advanced one. Even if sprinkler system break, the air will release, but the main deluge valve will be closed. It will open only when they will go to detection. Let the sprinkler system break and the detector detect also the fire. If anyone happens, the system will not work. Got the idea? I think you will come to more clarity when you have some videos. I will share you some 5 to 6 video for those system, and you have to watch those videos and come tomorrow. Now coming back to the components of a sprinkler system, right? These are the main components of the sprinkler system. We have deflector, glass bulb, fuse element, or thermal link. The one at the center in the red color, you can see this is a sealed liquid filled glass bulb. It might be alcohol or it might be some other kind of the fluid which is expandable, right? What is the meaning of that? If there is a fire, right, the heat will go from the fire area to this areas by convection, right? One of the transfer of the heat, convection. And once it's go nearby the bulb, due to the conduction, the heat will go and strike the bulb. Now this bulb has some set time. At certain time, this bulb will break, right? This bulb will break at, let's say, 79 degrees Celsius or 68 degrees Celsius based on the rating of the bulb RTI, which is response time index. We'll discuss in a while. When this will break, the cap, you can see here, the cap will come out, and from the orifice water will discharge. And those water discharge will strike at this deflector, right? And it will make a umbrella shape based on the maximum protection area and listing requirement for the sprinkler system. We have a orifice opening, right? It might be a 3 by 8, 7 by 6 and a half inch, 3/4 or 1 inch based on the orifice size. So we have the deflector, glass bulb, frame, and the thread. And these are some of the temperature rating. Based on the different temperature, we have different coloring. Now, what is the color and temperature method? We'll discuss in a while. This is just the component of the sprinkler system. You guys are there, right? We discussed in the beginning, right, regarding the approved and missing of approved and listed meaning, right? So suppose this is a valve, right? So this valve, if it is listed, there should be the marking of UL or FM on this one. Or if it is LPCB approved listed, so it should be marking of LPCB at this location. We discussed a lot this one. So listing only required, listing only required for the non-critical for the fire protection equipment, right? We discussed a lot in the in the fire pump. Let me know one thing, that which pump unit, which accessories, valve or pump from the fire pump package not to be listed, which not required listing.
Jockey pump.
Yeah, jockey pump and its valve, because that is not for the fire protection. It's a non-critical equipment like drain piping, signs. So here also the drain valves, the drain piping, signs, and so on is not to be listed, but should be approved. Approved by the owner or ASJ, right? The one who is protecting their facility with this
Mr.
product.
Rafi,
Yeah,
jockey pump no need listed,
yeah, we don't need listing of the jockey pump.
only electrical and diesel, right?
Yeah, electrical diesel and all accessories. Because those are jockey pump for the maintenance of the pressure only, not to fighting the fire.
Yes.
So here we came, this is the sprinkler identification number. We call it SIN, SIN. Normally, if you are purchasing some sprinkler, by looking at the deflector, you will got all the points regarding the K factor, temperature rating, response time, right? UL and FM listings, all those things you can find on this deflector. You can see there is a listing like FM global and UL or ULC. The response time is a quick response sprinklers, right? The model number of the sprinkler they have given here. The temperature rating is 155 degree Fahrenheit, and SSP, like SSP means standard spray pen or standard spray upright. So once you see a sprinkler, you should be able to understand what they are saying at that. Okay, now we came to the different types of the head, right? Different types of the sprinkler heads. The pendant, upright, sidewall, and concealed. The meaning of pendant is just like a necklace. A lady is wearing some necklace, is the down one direction facing, right? So it is just always facing the floor. Upright means it is into the upright direction. Sidewall, if you can see in some of the hotels, they are using the sidewall sprinklers. And then we have the concealed sprinkler. We'll discuss all those one by one. So the pendant means it's most common type of fire sprinkler you can see in all the building. Just wait a moment. I'll be back. Just wait a moment.
Hello, Mr. Rabi. أحد يسمع شيء يا شباب؟
لا والله ما نسمع شيء.
قال بيروح الفيديو.
Yeah, hello.
Yes, Mr. Rabi.
Yeah, I'm back. So the pendant is the most common one we can find everywhere in all the installation, residential, commercial, or warehouses, storage. It's the most common we are using in a flat ceiling. The meaning of pendant is the necklace. It's always facing the downward direction. Then we have the upright sprinklers, right? Upright sprinkler always facing upward direction. But means this sprinkler is all on the top of the piping, not at the bottom of the piping. When water discharges from this area, when there is a fire, the cap go out and this strike the umbrella. So again from this location it will keep the shape like this only. Okay. So this sprinkler, we commonly found this kind of the sprinkler in building which is exposed ceiling. If we don't have flat ceiling, or maybe in the mechanical room there is a duct, there is a piping, the plumbing work, utilities work, everything is going around, and at that location we cannot use the pendant piping because the pendant head, those if the water discharges into the downward direction, if it will hit the any kind of the obstruction, like let's say that system activated and it's hit a beam or a plumbing piping, so what will happen, the uniform profile of the sprinkler will not be achieved, and at that location those area there might be, if there is a fire, will not be extinguished. To avoid that one, we are using kind of the system in most of the ceilings. If you are going to any supermarkets, like maybe I don't know, if you are going to Panda or some malls, they don't have the, some malls don't have any flat smooth ceiling, so they are using the upright sprinklers to avoid those kind of issues. You got the difference between these 2 points, right? Yes, my friend.
Yes.
Okay. Now we have the side wall, right? Side wall just installed at the wall, right? Not on the ceiling. And these are designed to protect small rooms, hallways, and other area where sprinkler pipes are running all but not in the ceiling. The advantage of that one, if we don't, sometime, some ceiling, the flat ceiling is not able to support the load of the piping plus water, the fittings, the hangers and all. Like say the ceiling is not the heaviest structure. So in that case, we have option to go with the sidewall sprinklers. Most of the time, if you are going to the hotels, right? I've seen the Makkah and Medina, those required in all the commercial, all the residential building fire protection system. So they have installed the sidewall sprinklers, those areas. And then we have the concealed sprinklers, right? The concealed sprinkler head. Sometime, sometime here we have the sidewall sprinkler. Now it changed. Yeah. Thank you, Ahmad. So this is only installed on the piping, and sorry, only installed in the wall side where we have vertical piping. We have to minimize the load on the ceiling. We can use this one. Most time in the retrofit application, the modification of the system, they use this kind of the sprinkler system. And here we comes with the concealed sprinkler head. Now, if you are using this kind of the sprinkler, right, a very beautiful building, good design, interior and all, a 5-star hotel or a shopping complex, or a architecture who designed, a architectural engineer, he did lots of effort to make the building more nice, clean and beautiful. So if you are using this kind of the sprinkler, right, all the way going out into the ceiling, it reduces the work of those architects. So to avoid that one, they have come with the solution for the concealed sprinkler head. The meaning of the conceal means all the parts, the sprinkler, this is also a pendant sprinkler, right? Conceal should be only possible with the pendant, because it's the one you can see, this one, right? This one will only come into the ceiling, below the ceiling. All those parts will be inside the ceiling, so no one can see what is happening. If there is a fire into the building, so the plate also which is covering the sprinkler, it is a thermal element, means fusible link, a fusible sensing link. So if there is a fire, if the sprinkler system is for a residential complex and which is getting activated at 69 degrees Celsius, this plate will activate at 49 degrees Celsius. Means this plate will break 20 degrees Celsius before the 69. So there is a 20 degrees safety factor, that if there is actual fire, this one will break first and the sprinkler will be activated. What to the wise, do not paint the sprinkler cover plate. Now this kind of arrangement, much time maybe it should be painted by the painting contractor or the installation contractor. So the fire protection consultant must take a look at this kind of the feature, so that they will not play with that. We came to the temperature ratings now, right? We have temperature rating is starting for the sprinkler system from 57 to 77. We have ordinary temperature ratings 79 to 107, intermediate 121 to so much high, intermediate, sorry, highs, extra highs and ultra highs. Right? So these are the very high area applications. This is not common, as we can see.
Rafi, you can get example for extra high and very extra high example.
I'll come to you where this is actually installed. I have not seen this kind of the system so far, but I look for this one in NFPA handbook, and I will come to for your answer maybe tomorrow. Yeah, the high sprinkler we can use in, I discussed the deluge valve, right? If you're coming back to this slide. Yeah, this one. Since these transformers are outside and installed in outside atmosphere, right? So in this area, we have chances of high temperature, right? Because it is in the open space. In this area, we might use high rated sprinklers. This is one of the applications, and the other is that, just wait a moment. Now we back to the table again. They are saying that if your inside room temperature is maximum room temperature is 38 degrees Celsius in most of the office and all, we have to use the ordinary temperature classification. For high, they are saying the maximum ceiling temperature is 107. I think this is not a common application. This required this should be installed in some of the area where they have high temperature areas. In those area they have to. There might be some another kind of criteria, but I will come back to your questions. Let me look into the handbook and then I'll come. The first one, ordinary temperature classification, which comes between 57 to 77 degrees Celsius, we install in the offices, office, school, inside a building and built environment. Normally, the sprinkler comes under a rating of 69 degrees Celsius. 69 degrees Celsius we are installing in the offices, residential complex, commercial complex, inside the building where we have maximum ceiling temperature is 69 degrees Celsius. Now in the mechanical room, we are using 60 mechanical room temperature can go up to 66 degrees Celsius maximum. It's not going like that, but maybe it will go up to 50 degrees Celsius. So in those areas, we need a sprinkler of 79 degrees Celsius. And suppose you have a high-rise building, and those high-rise building having some of the exposed area, means the open glass windows, on top of the building, open glass areas, and your sprinkler is installed in those areas. So if you are installing the ordinary sprinkler of rating of 67, suppose this one is your high-rise building, right? And if you have installed inside the building the sprinklers of ordinary classification, let's say 69 degrees Celsius, and this is the main front from where we are getting the sunlight, right? In daytime we are getting the sunlight from this side, and this building is the front side, it is glass, right? The facade and all those things. And if you have installed same sprinklers in this area of, let's say, 69 degrees Celsius temperature ratings, or sprinkler which is ordinary classification, this is not a good design. What will happen due to the heat coming from the sun rays in the exposed area where sunlight is coming directly, right? That might heat those sprinklers, and if those sprinklers get heated, it will activate without fire also. So we have to install a sprinkler with 79 degrees Celsius. You guys are there?
Mr. Rabi, we will stop for prayer, or we will stop and continue tomorrow, or how the plan is?
What I'll do, I will share some videos on the Blackboard, right? All the content of this. You have to watch those video, and you have to come tomorrow. I think I can stop for now, and I will upload the video on Blackboard. We'll see tomorrow at 4:30 again.
Okay, that will be perfect.
If you guys are ready